The Vendee 2020 Vision project is an initiative aimed at putting more British entrants in the Vendee Globe and actually winning it in 2020. I don't see any reason that we can't. It's just a matter of getting the right people in place and the right boat, the right sponsors, and if you can bring the whole thing together, it's the same planet for everyone. There's no reason you can't win. I guess the biggest thing that makes 2020 Vision unique is it's the only platform I know of that offers like a turnkey solution for sponsors. We already have an Amaka 60 in our possession to use, to train and to race basically. We're literally, main push now is to find a sponsor to take us to the next level and be more competitive. Well, I was selected for the project, I guess, from my background. I started off sailing in dinghies and things, so I gained short course knowledge there, and more recently when I was part of the Artemis Offshore Academy I gained knowledge sailing the Figaro and single-handed offshore. Nearly all the candidates have been influenced by Artemis and brought through the Academy. The Academy's put numerous sailors through, not all of which have been selected for this process. Some have gone on to do other things anyway, but there's an element of obviously sailing ability has to be included, but there's fitness, your commercial side, how attractive you could be to sponsors, just everything about your personality. In solo sailing, it isn't just on who could be the fastest sailor. There's so many other aspects that need to be taken into consideration. I like to think I got picked because I've got a mindset that suits solo offshore racing, and I really do have a goal of doing the Vendee Globe. I think if you go in this half-heartedly and don't really want to do the race, or you're not sure it's for you, then this whole process is going to be pretty tough, and ultimately you're lining yourself up to failure. My involvement in the process is obviously I'm one of the 6 candidates for 2017 going forward. Part of the race crew for the boat, so the boat's going to do certain races throughout the year. We'll be on it, crewing it. As well as that, I'm going to receive training both on the water and off. Last year we finished off with basically taking the boat solo with Mikey Ferguson and Deke Farry, and the idea was they watch you sailing solo, what's he good at, what's he bad at, and how can we improve. This year we're going to be sailing double-handed and single-handed again and building upon our knowledge, and every time you go out one of these boats short-handed, it's tough. Even if you're the best in the world, it's tough. So it's making it less tough, if possible, is the goal. I also been doing pitch perfect and commercial training for it, selling to corporate bodies and businesses. Finding the sponsorship really is one of the harder parts. Sailing's actually easy once you get to that part. Trying to sell the campaign and get the money that you need to start with is crucial, and there's a lot of emphasis being put on that. We really need to find sponsorship, and we've got a lot of support to get there, but ultimately it has to be us that find it, or it has to be us that put the effort in to make it happen. Basically, this campaign's so big, so vast, that you can completely tailor it to the sponsor's needs. With Artemis in the past, we've done a lot of corporate days, different cows weeks and racing events, taking corporate guests out sailing. So if it's team building within the company, taking clients and guests out, sailing is a great way, alien environment for most people, great way to break the ice, get conversations flowing. There's also branding. Boat's huge. How much is it to get a billboard? Our sail is probably 3 times the size of a normal billboard, and it's constantly moving around a lot of the key locations. Media activation, there's a whole team involved. It's not, when a sponsor comes on board, they're not giving me money from my back pocket to figure out how to sail a boat. It goes to Whitecap. They're going to use the money to successfully fund the campaign, to make myself competitive, to give return for the sponsor, and ultimately it's done what the sponsor wants. Like, you name it, we can do it pretty much. You've got Hugo Boss jumping off masts and doing helicopter shoots. It's all about the media, images, sponsorship, selling watches, whatever. Other companies, they probably don't mind that it's a boat or a car or whatever. Their big thing is corporate activation and team building, and there's a really good platform of doing that on one of these 60s. The most important aspect, I think, of a sailing campaign is sustainability. I had my first season in the Figaro fully funded by Artemis, and having a fully funded campaign takes the pressure off. I can focus on making the boat sail fast, working on my fitness. There's no huge stresses. You can put as much effort in as needs be to make the boat go fast, and that's your only concern. The second year, I managed to do the same races, be again at the start line, but on a lot tighter budget, and trying to find sponsors. And you go into a race like short-handed sailing, where it's incredibly taxing on the mind and body, and to go in with the stress of not having maybe quite enough money to get new sails or take the same amount of training, or maybe I can't afford to do all the races I'd like to in preparation, it's just going to make it harder. So I guess when I say sustainable, I'm getting back to sponsorship. The most fundamental part of a sailing campaign is sponsorship. The team who's most well funded may not win, but they've certainly got the money in place to learn the things, have the coaches, have the new boat, new sails, everything that's going to increase your chances of winning. Can you improve your sailing without actually going sailing? Absolutely. I think sailing's one of those sports where there's so many variables. Every day you go out, different wind, different waves, different currents under the water. There's so many things to know. And I guess I break it down into, you really want to control the controllable. You don't know, for example, you don't know when the wind is going to shift and how much of a shift it's going to be, but it's going to be pretty crucial in the race. What you can do is read books, talk to people, get training, and to learn more about the weather, to anticipate when the shift's going to happen and prepare for it. For one example, with the wind. Obviously fitness, something you can control. On a light wind day maybe it's not too bad, but on a windy day you're going to need to be pretty damn fit to sail one of these boats. And fitness, just obvious, like you can definitely control your level of fitness. When you go out sailing, you decide and you can tell, do you need to be physically fitter, like cardio, more high intensity? Do you want longer duration? Do you need strength? Is it suppleness and stamina? There's so many different types, and we can refine ourselves to be perfectly built to sail these boats and work on that. I guess my idea is that if I know that I'm fit enough, and I know enough about the weather and the clouds, and I know how the boat works and what sail to use in different conditions, then as things are thrown at me, all the uncontrollables as they come towards me, I'll be able to react the right way, because I've got the things that I can control sorted. There's always something you can learn. Every day you go out sailing, you learn. And I guess in some ways, when you get out sailing, you really got to make the most of it. You got to have a plan. You got to have an objective for the day. Have the coaches in place, the cameras where you need them. Get all the information you can, and then take 2 or 3 days to digest that training session. Figure out pros and cons, and just keep working on it. Like, the guys who work the hardest are the guys who are going to win this race, right? So it's just down to the effort you put in is what you're going to get out. Why do I want to do the Vendee Globe? Yeah, I guess from the outside, anyone who does this race looks a little crazy, and I guess maybe we are. Everyone's got different motivations. For me, I like to push myself. When I completed my first edition of the Solitaire, I came 32nd out of 40 boats, whatever. Not an incredible result, but actually managing to finish every leg and finish the race despite bad weather, breakages in the boat, everything else. The sense of satisfaction you get when your body is telling you to stop 3-4 days ago, and instead you keep going, you don't sleep, you're eating probably freeze-dried food for a good month. When you finally finish that and you get home, the sense of satisfaction is just unreal, and multiply that up over 2-3 months sailing around the planet, it's going to be crazy. So I like to do it for the feeling of satisfaction after. There's also the angle of adventure. Why do people climb up Mount Everest? You know, we all know that you probably die doing it if you do it wrong, but people still really want to do it. It doesn't seem natural. I guess Vendee Globe's same sort of idea, that in our sport, what else is there above that? You know, you've got the Olympics and things, but this is my Olympics. If I can complete a lap of the planet, that's pretty impressive. Like, we've got I think over 5,000 people have been up Everest, over 100 in space. Less than 100 have actually managed to finish sailing up of the planet solo, so you're well up there.